Hello everyone and welcome back to another episode of Pseudo's Crochet and More. This is your host Crystal. Today is issue 8 for the Crochet Nation newspaper. I did get this, actually not far after the first, but I just now got to recording it. I am recording this on, now I'm sorry, my camera's just going to try to focus here. I am recording this on September 16th, Tuesday. You will see this on Wednesday, September 17th. This one here has, of course, the home and living, wearables, amigurumi, stitch break. Now, this one, I did not find a stitch for the month, which kind of, I guess that's not always going to have it. And yes, I did get my hair cut last week, and I dyed it the same day. The dye took really well to my grays, but my brown hair, my husband says it looks mauve. So, all right. So here on the front page, we have the spike stitch socks crochet pattern, and it tells you what they had folded this really weird in my mailbox, and I don't know why. And I thought maybe I had let it sit long enough for it to, and then there's also a Peter Rabbit crochet. That's the amigurumi that's included with this one. I also have Crochet Without Limits with Alexandra Massey. 7 wonderful weird rules for breaking the rules. As usual, they have the letter from the editor, a TV show called The Four Seasons. I'm not sure where this is at, but Tina Fey's in it, Will Forte, Steve Carell, Carrie Kenny Silver, Coleman Domingo, and Marco Calvani star in this. Oh, it's a Netflix show. Then the book that they're suggesting this time is The Maid's Secret, which I'm going to have to see if that's on Audible. If it is, I might get it and listen to it and see how it goes. I really like the Crochet Mystery series by Betty Hetchman, I do believe. It's really good. If you like mystery, you like crochet. There's also ones that are like that for knitters, if you're a knitter. So, and then they have product recommendations, which looks like it's not the claw, it's not the lobster claw ones, but it looks like it could be used for knitting or crochet because it's the circular. I don't know. I've actually gotten used to using the clover style, these ones, but everybody likes different things. So yeah, I'll show you that stuff here. And then the community spotlight, the tension ring, crochet earrings. They're 3D printed yarn ball earrings that have crochet hooks in them. I didn't notice that those were earrings. So here's on the very first page. And that's the book there. So, and then on the next page is a wall hanging, and there is, I'm just going to show you the wall hanging itself because there's a graph in here and instructions on how to make it. There's that. Next up we've got, that's more the wall hanging, and then there's the word scramble on the next page, which I'm not going to show you guys because that's it with that pattern for that. But it does tell you where that was from and who the designer is. It's in the Creative Modern Crochet for the Home book, and it is. This collection is packed with yeah. So you can search that Lucy D. It's really tight print. I'd have to have a magnifying glass. I don't even think if I had my glasses on, I would be able to read that. Oh, and look at that. Bear got in her chair behind me. And then there's the Hooked Back in Time. The Rise of Coates and Clark. So if you're interested in learning more about them, they're now part of Yarnspiration. But there's an article here for that. And if I can keep that up, there's a whole big thing about that. Legacy and Today. So it goes over from the start of it. So there's that, which is, I'm gonna try to read that soon. And then there's 4 lessons in modular crochet from Lynn Rowe. There is a pattern on here, but I'll show you the top of it. It is a dragon blanket. Actually looks pretty cool if you've got kids that are into dragons, because it's like, it's more or less kid size. And there's some of the how to do doing swatches helps prevent big mistakes, which I don't know. I mean, I can understand if you're doing a garment, that's one thing, but for blankets and stuff, I don't get the whole gauge thing for blankets. If you use less or more yarn, that just means your gauge isn't the same as the person that made the original, in my opinion. Okay, and then there is more about that dragon blanket. And then there's the tulip textured dishcloth. And they have it shown in several different colors. A solid, a multicolor, and then a solid with like a stripe. There's that. And I don't know why that would say DK. Well, I guess it's worsted weight. But it should say it should be cotton. If you're using it for a dishcloth, it shouldn't just say worsted weight. It should say cotton. That's just my opinion. And then there's the anatomy of a hook, telling you the difference between Susan, an inline hook versus a tapered hook. And there is the book, The Crochet Secrets, the Naughty Boss. Yeah, The Naughty Boss. Okay. It was published by David and Charles Publishing by Anna Lizina oh my gosh. It's taken from that book there in the corner. It's got a lot of tips and guides and techniques and taking your project to the next level. Then there's a Semper cowl underneath of that, and I'll show you a picture with the person. They have it down here, and this person up here has it on them too, but it's just laying flat. The one down in the corner down here is it pulled up. Now, this company does have a Knit Nation and a Baker's Nation newspaper as well. They're all $8.95 plus a couple dollars, or $5 plus like $3 at $3.95 or something like that for shipping. So less than $10 every month. You can get a newspaper with interesting stories. A story that started with issue 1, which I still have not yet to get. But I am truly working on trying to get that. Now, this next one is another pattern. There's a lot of patterns in here, and sometimes there's a QR code or a link to go to get more patterns if there's like just a list of them. This is a sweater. It's called the Festive Jumper. And I'm guessing you could use yarnsub.com, or I think it's yarnsub. You can check to see what kind of yarn you can substitute with if you don't have the exact yarn that they've used for this. But that's really, I like that. That's a really nice festive sweater. And it gives you diagrams and telling you, you know, what size, depending on what your measurements are, what depends on what size you need to go by. more of that on the next page. That's a pretty long pattern. Okay. And then there's socks. Anna Nikki Porosky's Guide to Crocheting Your First Pair Without Panic. And she does tell you, she does give you a lot of information on this. So there's that. That's the next item. Troubleshooting common sock struggles. Choosing yarn and hook wisely. Start small. Try the easiest sock first. Things like that. I do like that they give a lot of tips and information about how to learn how to do different projects like socks, sweaters, things like that. And then on the next page is the pattern for the spike stitch socks, which is on the front of the newspaper. And then I'm not going to show that to you because that was already up there. And then the next thing is the Peter Rabbit, which is the amigurumi for the month. You get yourself started for Easter next year, springtime. And that is actually part of the Peter Rabbit Crochet Toys book. I will show you that because there's not much here. So if you're interested in getting it and you want to make it, but you don't want to get the newspaper, it is inside of this. There is a QR code in here for a link to the book, but this is the book. Peter Rabbit Crochet Toys. And then under that is the word ladder where you start with one word and you make changes to it to figure out the rest of the words in the list. And then on the next one is Meet the Maker, which is, let's see, Crochet Limits, Alexandra Masse. Okay, so she's got the one that's got the 7 rules, wonderful, weird rules for breaking the rules. I don't know if she's on, let's see, is she on? She is on Instagram. So if you want to check her out there, she does not have anything for YouTube, but she is on Instagram. And then I'll tell you what my horoscope is. So there's that lady, the lady, the maker of the Meet the Maker. And then my horoscope is Ambition Meets Practicality. Start the festive jumper, page 10, before the Christmas rush. Sleek, stylish, and approved by your inner planner. I don't know if I have an inner planner. I keep trying to plan out things and they never go right. So there's that. Okay. And then it goes into the Dear Grandma Angie. And then the comic strip underneath of that. And then the Stitches of Deception, which is the 8th installment, which I don't have the first one. So once I do get that, I will start reading it and see how that story plays out. All right. And then the Hooked on a Feeling, What's Your Mood Telling You to Crochet. That's pretty cool. And then I'm going to go ahead and there is an article underneath the rest of the installment, the story that started in issue 1, called How Crochet Unlocked the Secrets of Hyperbolic Planes. That's interesting. There's also an article about changing minds about craft and math, which that is a very, I never thought that this would involve math, but it does. And then there's the Crochet Wish, the story, your results from the quiz, depending on how many letters you chose would be the, what you're doing, what you should be gravitating to crochet, I think. And then, of course, on the very back is the crossword. which I don't think I've ever gotten I've never gotten a crossword puzzle finished before. So there is that. So that's this issue, which is issue 8. I will keep showing these to you guys. We do link the company, the Kindness Company, in the description box below. So if you want to check them out, or if you want to check one of their other newspapers, you could get all 3 if you wanted to. Again, it's a really great newspaper. I still have yet to try any of the patterns or stitches that have been part of the newspaper, because right now, I'm just thankful I have it in case I need to look to see if there's something I would like to make. I would attempt to make that sweater, but when I made my cardigan, my 1 cake cardigan, courtesy of Ginger from the Yarn Geek, from the Karen anniversary cakes, the shoulders didn't work very well with me. Now I know that it's not an enclosed garment, so it's going to be a little different, but I am going to try, and if it doesn't happen this year, hopefully next year I can start trying out some of these patterns that are in these and showing you guys and telling you what I think of the instructions, the result, all of that. All right. Well, if you enjoyed today's video, please give me a thumbs up. If you like my content and haven't already subscribed, please go ahead and hit that subscribe and then the notification bell, so you're always aware of when I put out new content. Until next time, I hope you all stay safe and stay crafty and stay cool if it's still hot in your area. Bye-bye.